There's a bill that a senator introduced last week to legalize internet casino gaming, commonly known apparently as iGaming, although I have never personally used that term before in my life. State Senator Niraj Antani of Miamisburg is joining me on the Scott Sand Show. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Senator. It's good to have you on.
You are. Thanks so much for having me. Very excited to be on.
All right. So are you an iGamer? And is that a term you made up? Because I've never heard that term before anywhere.
Well, I am not an iGamer, but it is the term that is commonly used across the country, at least in the circles that I run in. But,
right.
No, we're very excited about the bill.
I just call myself a degenerate. And that I think I don't know if the term a degen would pass in the state house, but I mean, frankly, that's what some of us are. I do love that we finally got the sports wagering rolled out in the state. I think that we screwed up the rollout, to be perfectly honest. But if we're going to do the sports wagering, we might as well do the online blackjack and other casino games too.
Yeah, there's been a long history in Ohio over gaming. We know it first entered right in 2009 with the casinos. We don't necessarily love how they came in, and then we had the Rustinos, and then as you talked about, we just passed, and I was a part of that, the sports gaming legislation to legalize that. And now, it's been there for about over a year. And I think our next step is iGaming. I think there's no good reason that an Ohioan shouldn't have the freedom to play poker on their phone, to play a round of blackjack or spin the roulette wheel or take a spin at the slot machine on their phone. That should be a legalized activity, and that's what this bill seeks to do.
Well, because, we're talking to Senator Niraj Antani here on the Scott Sand Show. We're doing that anyway. The state's just not getting a cut of it. I mean, I play online poker every night, 3 or 4 times a week. I'll play online poker in various online poker clubs for real money, but the state's not getting a cut of that. And I'm sure that some of the large lobby groups for people like Penn Gaming, the company that owns Hollywood Casino, probably not real thrilled about this, but they'll be able to roll out their own apps as well and profit from it too.
Well, I'll act like I didn't hear that, Scott. But yes, you're right. Right now, it is being done in the dark of the night, and potentially through shady vendors that aren't legitimate, that could be scamming people. And what this will do is it will bring it into the sunshine, into the goodness, where we can regulate it as a safe activity. We can protect Ohioans and consumers. We can help people who have problem gambling issues and maybe have become addicted, and we can intervene there. And yes, it can also, create jobs for, our casinos and racinos. And so, we think this is a win-win. Like you said, it is being done now. But look, there are people who, like me, who maybe in school were the little bit of a goody two-shoes, who won't do it because it's illegal right now, who, maybe wants to, enjoys a round of blackjack with his friends and, around the state, and would do it online if it were legal. And so we want that to be the case. We want Ohioans to be able to do this safely. I believe that we should be able to expand freedoms. And yes, we expand the core freedoms like the Second Amendment and the First Amendment and all of those great things. But also there are things like this that Ohioans want to be able to do that they can't currently do, that they have to do in the dark of the night right now, and it's time to bring it into the sunshine.
Or just a VPN to Michigan, and that works as well. Just in the same way, living here in Northwest Ohio, Niraj, it's kind of funny because we literally 5 minutes away from downtown Toledo, 10 minutes away from downtown Toledo, can drive across the state line. Before marijuana was legalized, you could drive across the state line to Michigan. If you wanted to make a bet on a game, you could download the app and drive literally across the state line, sit in a parking lot, and make sports bets. So for those of us near Michigan, it really hasn't changed that much. But if we're going to do this, let's make sure there's a system. Let's make sure. Do you have to run it through the Casino Control Commission, because they seem to drag their heels on everything related to this?
That's a great point, and we don't want people to have to drive across the border to do something. When we were doing the sports betting bill, one of my college interns who interned in my office told me that he and his friend would drive from Dayton to Richmond, Indiana once a week to place their sports bets on Friday afternoon before, the weekend games. And that's just, wholly unnecessary. Look, I understand people critique the Casino Control Commission and the sports betting rollout, but frankly, I think that they do a good job. I know they can sometimes be a little slower than we'd like, but we do want to do this in the right way. We do want to do this in a safe manner for Ohioans, and they have that experience to be able to do that. And so, we do sacrifice a little bit of expediency for safety to ensure problem gamblers can be taken care of, to fight gambling addiction, and I do think that is worth it.
Well, and it's many in your party. I believe you are a Republican. It's many in the Republican Party that have fought sports wagering, that will fight internet gaming, that fought pot legalization. It's many of your own colleagues in the State House that are opposed to this and will fight you on it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that there is a little bit of an ideological divide on this issue within my party. There are those, like you said, who maybe don't want to expand things in what I call the sin category, what we call the sin category. That's gaming and alcohol and, things in that category.
Yeah, I call it the fun category.
Well, there you go. But my approach to this, and I think others are, is freedom. We shouldn't regulate any behavior other than those that put the health and safety of Ohioans at risk. We regulate driving because if we don't, people will crash their car and get injured and potentially die. That's why I am fine with passing tough traffic laws. But this is not that case. No one is going to be physically harmed or die because they put a bet on Blackjack on their phone.
There are people, though, if I can jump in here, we're talking to State Senator Niraj Antani from Miamisburg on the Stat Sancho. There are people that would say that it is a risk to people's mental or financial health by allowing these games to operate.
Social media is a risk to our mental health.
Oh, tell me about it.
Going out on the night on the town is a risk to our financial health. There are many risks in life, but I trust the individual Ohioan to do the responsible thing, to live their life how they want to. It is not government's role to sort of regulate that, in my opinion. Our only job is to make sure the health and safety of Ohioans are taken care of. Otherwise, we should be seeking more freedoms. Obviously, the essential freedoms like speech and religion and Second Amendment, and we can go through all of the things we've done to expand those rights. But there are things like this that are just so common sense. And remember, this is something that people want. People want to be able to do this. They want this as an entertainment option. Maybe not as much as they wanted to bet on sports. That was vociferous throughout the state, which was great. But people want to be able to do this, and they should be able to do it.
What are the prospects for this bill? Do you have co-sponsors? Will it even get to a vote?
Well, this is a legislative process. We are at the end of a 2-year term here coming into the election season. And so, whether we get it done or not, this starts the conversation. I think we will see this legalized eventually. It took 3.5 years for sports betting. It may take that or longer for this, but we're starting the process and the conversation, and we're going to give Ohioans and Ohio companies the opportunity to give input into this and to make sure that it's well done.
All right, so what do I need to do? I know a lot of people in the state legislature. I need to make some calls. What can I do to help you out?
Send those texts, make those calls. I think, the way the State House works is a lot of folks operate in certain areas. For example, I've spent a lot of my time in the State House on health policy, gaming issues. There's only a handful of legislators who probably think about it regularly. That's okay. They don't have to. There's not, other than sports betting, there haven't been many gaming issues in recent history. And so this is now, I think, going to give your rank and file state rep or state senator the opportunity to think thoughtfully about this and to start forming their opinion and what their community. Every community is different. Toledo, you've got a casino, I think.
We do. We've got Hollywood Casino here.
So, so that's going to impact what people think in the area, and that's that's good and that's okay. We want that. Like you said, you've got the border issue. So something that I had not thought about, now you've made me think about it, is what does our bill look like versus Michigan's bill? And we want to make sure our bill is competitive because we don't want.
I'm running out of time. Any idea how much tax revenue this would mean for the state of Ohio?
We do not have that number, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's continue these conversations because I want to make sure we can push this through at some point in my lifetime. State Senator Niraj Antani, Republican from Miamisburg, here on the Scott Sand Show. You are in Montgomery County, which isn't too far away from Clark County, home of Springfield, Ohio, where we're hearing reports of Haitian immigrants decapitating geese and stealing pets. Have you heard from any of your neighbors to the east, right? To the east of Montgomery County.
One county to the east, and we've heard the duck thing. If that is true, that is outrageous. But what we do know, what there is evidence of, is the fact that Springfield, Ohio, and I've talked to my friend Kyle Kaler, who was their state rep and will be their state senator very soon, about this just this morning. There are 58,000 people in Springfield. Now 20,000 of these Haitians have moved in. And let's remember, they may have current legal status, but they crossed the southern border illegally.
Right.
The Biden-Harris administration gave them temporary legal status. So when the New York Times says that these are legal immigrants, that is as thin of a line you can have. They may have legal temporary status, but they crossed the border illegally. And frankly, Springfield isn't equipped for this. No town, no small town in Ohio is equipped for this kind of rush. Health services, their schools, their hospitals, all of them are being overwhelmed. There's this driving issue where they're not getting driver's licenses. I think last year, an 11-year-old was tragically killed. And this is an epic failure of our federal government. The federal government needs to act. We're thinking thoughtfully of if there is something we can do at the state level, but this has the potential to be a disaster for Springfield and frankly, for other towns across Ohio and the country if we don't do something.
These small towns like Springfield, Ohio, like Toledo, like Findlay, like Lima, don't have the infrastructure to accept that many illegal immigrants into the city. It's a strain on public health resources, on education resources, on law enforcement, and and housing, and that could lead to some of these rumors being true. Although Springfield Police, the Springfield City Manager, are denying the claims that were on social media over the weekend. But that doesn't mean it's any less of a problem having 20,000 or some odd illegals in a small town like Springfield, Ohio. State Senator Niraj Antani here on the Scott Sand Show. Niraj, I appreciate your time, man. Let's have another conversation again soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks.